What is up, guys? It's your boy Rick Kakis, and today we are going to be discussing the things that Bungie needs to do in the upcoming Destiny 2 showcase to restore the faith and the confidence of the Destiny 2 community. Right now, things in this game are not going too well. Player outrage and dissatisfaction is at arguably an all-time high, so a lot is hinging on this upcoming showcase where Bungie is set to reveal the final Shape DLC, the final expansion of the Light and the Darkness saga, as well as the different seasons leading up to this expansion. Now, we've had showcases before and they're usually pretty hype, but because of how the community is feeling right now, as well as the fact that this is the finale, there's a lot more pressure on Bungie, and if they underdeliver, things are not going to go well. So here are my opinions on what Bungie can do specifically to knock it out of the park. Of course, if you guys have different ideas, please let me know in the comment section down below. But I would say first and foremost, the thing Bungie needs to do is prove that Destiny 2 is still a priority at the studio. After the reveal of Marathon and the fact that it contained things like dedicated servers and a security team, things that Destiny PvP players have been asking for years, a lot of players just looked at the situation and thought, well, Bungie is siphoning resources from Destiny onto their new projects.
Yeah, so it seems like they're putting all their money into Marathon.
In fact, Bungie recently posted on Twitter the fact that they're hiring for yet another new game. It seems like Bungie is interested in everything other than making Destiny 2 as good as it could be. So, to prove that isn't the case, what Bungie could do is firstly announce something absolutely massive, something that players have been asking for years. For example, an infinitely scaling horde mode, something to go into and really test your build and see as far as you could get. Endgame players have been asking for something like that for years and years and years. I'm not saying they specifically have to do that. They could do space combat. We have all these cool looking ships. It'd be sweet to be able to dogfight each other. Again, this is all just completely hypothetical, but something big that players have been asking for that would really shock the Destiny 2 community and that would showcase that they are spending a considerable amount of resources still on this franchise. Now, another thing that Bungie could announce to prove this is that they're moving resources back onto Destiny 2. For example, they recently announced the creation of a PvP strike team to fix a lot of the PvP problems we've been facing. Well, what if they said, we're actually taking some of the head people from Marathon and moving them onto the strike team for a couple of months to get everything set up, showcase that we still are willing to prioritize Destiny in the detriment to some of our new things instead of only ever the other way around. I think that would also go a long way. But moving on from there, the next big thing I would really like to see is Bungie announce a step back from monetization. So the monetization in Destiny 2 has really increased and ramped up over the years. Stuff that you didn't used to be able to do, like buy the entirety of the seasons pass day one, you can now do, and this really fuels a lot of what I was talking about in the first point, the speculation that Bungie is milking Destiny in order to fund these other projects. And frankly, the fact that a new player is faced with this absolute insanity as a barrier to entry in terms of what they need to buy for this game is just comical. Announce something that would do away with these concerns. For example, say that every paid expansion will become free for all players after 2 years. So hey, when Final Shape comes out, guess what? The Witch Queen is now free for everybody. Or heck, 3 years, say Beyond Light and Before is free for everyone, because I'm sure Bungie still makes money off of these older expansions, even stuff like the Forsaken Weapon Pack, right? But guess what? I would say that they're losing a lot more money because of all of the thousands and thousands of people who think about playing Destiny 2, who get to this section of the Steam page, look at the prices of everything and go, why would I invest in this? Like, this is an insane barrier to entry. So I would think that the future of Destiny, with so many more people now coming into the game because of how much more content is now free, would actually be brighter and more profitable by making a decision like this. Now, moving on from there, the next thing I want to see is, before we get into the brand new stuff, I would like to see investment in existing systems. So, funny enough, This is already for sure going to be happening because Bungie recently said that there's going to be a considerable overhaul and improvement of the crafting system coming with the final shape. That's good, and that's exactly what I'm talking about with this point. Bungie introduces these things, but then often kind of leaves them to rot, doesn't invest in them. A great example is that they recently redid the entire armor mod system and build system. That's great. You simplified it, you made it a lot easier for players to understand, but Bungie then went on record and said that we're not making more armor mods. Why? You took out so many different armor mods in the game. You took out elemental wells, you took out warmind cells, you took out more than you added, so we need to show that we're actually investing in these things. Showcase that, you know what, we are going to be making more armor mods every season so that we can up the diversity of builds and build crafting as an example. So we have so many things in the game that could be fantastic if they were invested in, if Bungie took the time and the care to really ramp up a lot of these great ideas that they introduce. Again, they are doing this with crafting, which is fantastic, but I would like to see a few more things get that same treatment. But moving on from there, the next thing I want to see from Bungie is how they're changing up the seasonal model. This is something that they have announced that they are doing because players have been asking for seasons to be differentiated for years now, because it's been years of very formulaic seasons that feel very similar to one another. It's the same kind of seasonal upgrades every time from the helm or something basically akin to the helm. It's a very similar seasonal player activity every single time that really doesn't add any depth, right? We want to see stuff change. We want to see a season maybe completely dedicated to PvP. I would have loved to see this past season of the Deep, forget salvage. No one cares about salvage. Invest fully in deep dive, have, you know, even more layers you could go down, have really interesting rewards associated with deep dive as an example, just to differentiate one season from the next. Again, Bungie has said that they are doing this, which is fantastic, but I want to actually see how they're doing this and what changes are being made. But guys, moving on from there, the final thing I want to see from Bungie at this showcase is proof that something lies beyond the final shape. I've seen a lot of people say that Destiny 2 ends with the final shape, and that's not true. Bungie has said that is not true. But Bungie randomly tweeting it out or mentioning it in an article that they write, like, that's only going to make it to a small group of dedicated players. A lot of people still think that Destiny 2 is kind of wrapping up, right? There needs to be something like a teaser with just a 3 appear announcing Destiny 3. Now, I don't actually think they're going to do that, but that is a good example of like what is after the final shape, or just Zavala saying we've received a message from outside the solar system or something like that, right? Like a little bit of a hint at the next chapter of Destiny 2 beyond the final shape. Doesn't have to reveal anything big. Bungie is probably still hard at work at what comes after the final shape. They're probably still not sure exactly what they're going to do even, but they need to showcase to their players that the journey is not wrapping up. The journey is just beginning. Guys, that's it for the video. Hope you enjoyed and found this interesting. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus. That is linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.